Hello, welcome back to History of the English Language. This is video 9, and this is going to be on the spelling and sounds of Old English, or the phonology and orthography. In the last video, we talked about literature and culture and history, and that stuff's great, but you know what really gets me going? Consonants and vowels and semi-vowels and diphthongs. Let's begin. Let's see here. Oh, in the background of this picture on this first page, I just want to say, is the upper left corner of the unique manuscript containing the only copy of the poem Beowulf, the Old English epic. You can see the letter H here, and over here, this character, which looks kind of like a P, is actually what was called a win, which was a rune, and it makes the W sound. And then over here, you can see, we'll talk about it a little later in this video, a character called an ash, which is an A and E mushed together, and then a T, which is a T, and together, HWAET, it makes the sound HWÆT. The consonants of Old English. We're going to talk about how the Old English writings that survive, like all the homilies, the epic poems, the riddles, the elegies, and a whole bunch of religious writing, saints' lives, this rich legacy of cultural heritage that comes to us mostly in the West Saxon dialogue, but not only in the West dialect, but not only in the West Saxon dialect. There was a relatively uniform writing system, especially compared to Middle English, and we're going to look at that writing system. They used a modified version of the Roman alphabet, and you're going to learn how to pronounce Old English from reading it. If you watch this video very carefully, and of course, I'm using a lot of the information that's in A History of the English Language, Chapter 4 by Van Gelderen, and you will find this information in other histories of the language as well, such as the classic one by Bow and Cable. Consonants. We have the consonant C, which, as in modern English, makes two sounds depending on what kind of vowel it's in front. If it precedes a front vowel, remember, a front vowel is produced by putting your tongue in the front of your mouth. So your tongue's in the back of your mouth. It's like, so, o, u, those are back vowels. E, e, I, those are front vowels. So before a front vowel, like e, e, or I, it is a ch. That's what the IPA there on the screen indicates. That's a t with a sh. So together it's ch. And that sound is what is called in linguistics an affricate, which is a stop that pushes out into a fricative. Ch. But then if it's before a back vowel, u, o, a, it's a k. So we see this word, ceosan, and it's pronounced chosan, because the vowel in front of it is a front, behind it is a front vowel, chosan. But this vowel, and we'll talk about vowels in a bit, is a back vowel. It's a u sound, u, so we pronounce it kuning, and this is the word king. So chosan, choose, and kuning, king, are both written with C. The letter G also creates two different sounds, depending on whether it's preceding a back or a front vowel. If it's preceding a front vowel, it makes a y sound. The IPA character J actually makes a y sound, like in German, ja. And so preceding a front vowel, it's y, and preceding a back vowel, it's g. And so this word, yeardagum, has two G's, one of each kind. And this is a word, this word means days of yore, of the days of yore, of the olden days. This is a word that's in the first two lines of Beowulf. Third vowel is a velar fricative or a glottal fricative, depending on how you pronounce it. So it's either way back in the throat, like you're, again, the hissing cat, or a kind of closer up, and depending on what vowel it's next to. But it's also, we find this letter H, this sound, in combination with other consonants, which we don't in modern English. So HWÆT, which we already saw, the first word of Beowulf. Hlaford, which means Lord. It's the root of the word Lord. And then Hrunting, which is the name of the sword in the poem Beowulf. We don't get that H in front of other consonants in modern English. Let's look at some more consonants. The R is an alveolar flap or a retroflex tap. So it's like ra or ra, that kind of sound, as in the Spanish or the German R. The Old English word reach, which is related to the German Reich, or the last part of the word bishopric, means kingdom or realm. That reach, or that's an example. No, I'm not telling you to be quiet. I'm just pronouncing the word combination S, the letter combination SC, as in ship, or bishop. Wow, those sound exactly the same in Old English and Modern English. Crazy, isn't it? That sound is written SC in Old English. It was changed during the Middle English period to be written with an SH for reasons we'll explain later. It has to do with Norman scribes. Then there's this letter, this cool looking medieval letter. It's called a thorn. It's kind of like a P that goes, or a B, except it can't decide whether it's a P or a B because it's got that loop there, but it has both an ascender and a descender line. And that one's called a thorn. And then there's this D letter, which makes a th sound. This one's called F. And then it's got this little lowercase d kind of thing with a T, where the T is crossed. By the way, this character here, this lowercase d, if you were to open up the top of that loop and then expand the two lines at the top, it might look a little bit like a Y. So that if you were to write the with one of these, but you were to write that eth sloppily, it might look a little like a Y, which is where you get ye olde. It's actually the olde, and it's just been misread. So there you go. These sounds, thorn and eth, both make the theta sound, the interdental fricative, as in Modern English then, or that, or this, or Old English the, then, or that, which is that, because it's English. It's just Old English. All right. Are we through consonants yet? Yes, we are. We're going to talk about vowels now. First, simple vowels. That's one vowel sound that's not in combination with others. We have the short os. And again, I want to mention something right now. Vowel sounds are what will vary most in modern English dialects. I speak kind of a Northeastern English, which means I'll say the word cot, like you sleep in, a little differently than caught, like you caught a fish. Whereas people in much of the United States and Canada, it's both caught and caught, like don and dawn. A friend of mine says, you mean boy dawn or girl dawn? No, it's don and dawn. Two different sounds. Anyway, so this your mileage might vary in terms of these pronunciations here. But the short A, if you see an A in Old English, it's either going to be the sound in the first syllable of contact, and you'll hear that in monogam, which means many. And then the long A, the ah sound in father, as in thom. So monogam or thom. And these two sounds differ only in length, not in quality. If you're wondering what I'm talking about, refer back to the episode earlier in this series on sounds of language and phonology. We have in Old English this ash character. The ash character is a combination of A and E written together in what's called a ligature, where they're tied together. And the ash sound has the a sound, as in cat or bat. And in the Old English, we have the word fatter. Now, of course, again, there are going to be some varieties of English, like, for example, received pronunciation, the kind of posh Stephen Fry sort of English, where they don't say they say caught or bought. But most varieties of English don't actually. Then there's the long a, which is the a sound in band, band, as opposed to bat, band. Notice that, the length of time it takes to say it. The second time is a lot longer. Mississippi steamboat. Long E, you see a letter E, there's a good chance that it's going to be pronounced kind of like the sound in way, like no way. Except when we say A, there's a semi-vowel at the end, what's called a glide sound, where you say way, way. Notice how at the end your tongue lifts up towards the top of the mouth and kind of closes it off, becoming a semi-vowel. Try saying way without the Y at the end. Way, way. And that's kind of like a Spanish or Italian sound. And that's how the Old English said way in yer dagam. Short I is just like in modern English, his. That's his is modern English, his is Old English. The long I, as in we talked about the sound before, reach, the word reach, kingdom or realm related to Reich, that is going to sound like the modern English machine, reaches. All right, so that's the simple vowels. Oh no, there's more simple vowels. Okay, we got a short O sound, which is a bit like the sound in pond. And I think that's more the standard English, not my somewhat New York inflected pond. Hey, it's hot in here. I'm gonna boil the pasta in the pot. The kind of northeastern corridor O sound. I think this is more the Midwestern, Western pond. Long O. The long O sound is just like the sound in go. Get on, which means to do. Get on. Und, by the way, means and. Woohoo! As in like this and that. The short U, the letter U is going to make the sound in bull, as in like So ungeladerdum, or ignorant, unlearned, is ungeladerdum. Two short U sounds though. But then sometimes there's a long U sound, as in school, schulan. There's a short Y. We talked a little bit about the Y before, but the Y sound is a bit like the French U, like tu, or the German U, like U, like fünf. Fünf is the U with the two dots over it, the umlaut. And in linguistics, umlauting refers to the pronunciation of a back vowel with rounded lips. So, like I said, you go E, like you're saying E, but instead of like kind of stretching out your mouth, you're gonna round your lips like you're gonna say ooh, but you're saying E and ooh at the same time. So it's E in the back, ooh up front. So it's like E, just like that, easy, right? So the short ooh is like the sound in will, which means will, as in like Schopenhauer's "The World is Will and Representation." The long Y is the ooh sound in school, but with the lips slightly pursed. Again, you round it. Geküchnisse, which I think is knowledge, or it means family, or things that you know. I can't know. The root kith is that which is familiar or known to you, as in kith and kin, the people you know and the people you're related to. Are those all our vowels? No, we still got diphthongs. I just like saying diphthong. A diphthong is a sound formed by the combination of two vowels in a single syllable, in which the sound begins as one sound and moves towards another, as in coin. Let's say coin really slow. Coin. You hear how it starts out oh, and then it ends up in e. Coin. Loud. And side. You're like, wait a second, the first two I see, but this last one, side, that I sound, that's a simple vowel. No, it's not. It's a combination of ah and e. It's I, right? And in Southern English, Southern United States English, words that are diphthongs and other varieties are sometimes not diphthong, or that I sound is not diphthong in Southern English. So like you don't say I like grits, you say like I like grits. Not I like grits, but I like grits, right? Because it's just a simple vowel sound. I hope I didn't offend anyone Southern just now. I do like grits, actually. Often contrasted, the diphthong is, with a monophthong, which is a simple sound, or a triphthong, which is like ear. I don't know, it's like three sounds stuck together, which makes me think of, like Southern preachers, like Jesus. All right. Anyway, here's an example of diphthongs in Old English. You can mostly work them out from looking at them. Health, fel, ahilda, stierda, erthon. This means half, health, feoa. I forget what that means, honestly. Ahilda means to wielded or held. Stierda, steered, like you steered a ship. I don't know. Erthon, I do know. That means earth. All right. Let's bring it all together. I'm going to read you a sample of Old English as it was written. This is Alfred the Great's translation of Orosius, who was a patristic scholar. Patristic refers to the era of Christian thinkers and writers between roughly 200 and 450 CE. Orosius traveled around a lot, and this is a section that is where Alfred is prefacing the book and recounting Orosius's travels. This section can be found on page 76 of Ellie Van Gelderd's excellent work in our course textbook, A History of the English Language Revised Edition, by the John Benjamin's Publishing Company. A publishing house, by the way, that specializes in linguistics. I love that so much. All right, let's read. Tha, I'll go slow so you can follow along and look at how the letters are making sounds and maybe see if you can pick up some English words that you know yourself. Tha was he, swa fair north, swa the HWÆL huntan fyrest fara. Tha for he, tha yet, north rykta swa fair swago. He merkte on them othrum 3 dagas gesilan. Tha bear that land there east rykte og the seo sa in that land, he nisse whether Bhutan he wisse that there bad western windows. And now I'm going to read it in modern English so you can look on and see how well you did. And then we'll be done with this video. Thank you for listening. Hold on. Here we go. Here we go. He was, 76. There we go. Then was he, tha was he, as far north as those whale hunters most far go. HWÆL huntan is whale hunters. Fyrest farath is as far as they go. Then traveled he then yet, north richte, as far as swa fair swa, he meachte on tham other 3 dagas gesilen. He could in those next 3 days, 3 dagas gesilen, sail. Da beath that land, then bent that land there eastwards, eastrichte, otha, which means or, that sea, seosa, in on that land he nisse, in on that land he not knew, but he knew that he there waited west wind. I've given you a word-by-word translation, you should note, and not an idiomatic translation. There's a lot of other features that I could talk about in this little passage, but I'm not going to go do it right now because in the coming videos, we will talk about the morphology and the syntax of Old English, and boy, I can't wait. Thank you for joining me. Have a great day. Hope you're enjoying the course. And if you're not, bye.